With this story, as the fighting between Russia and Ukraine persists, Ukrainians continue to flock to neighbouring Poland in search of safety. The exodus has been described as the largest refugee movement in Europe since the end of the Second World War. To get a picture of how dire the situation is, eNCA's senior reporter Siphamandla Goge joins me now. He is en route to Medyka, a Polish town close to the Ukrainian border. And Siphamandla, you have been, you traveled a few days ago, about 2 days ago, you left South Africa, making your way to gauge the situation as the war continues to, push people out of Ukraine. Just locate yourself for us and just tell us about the journey thus far, getting to where you are and where exactly you are headed.
Well, we are currently on our way to Medyka. That's the border between the Ukraine and Poland. It's used by thousands of people who are crossing from the side of the Ukraine to come to Poland. Basically, that's where many people have been crossing. It's one of the borders that they are using, one of the land borders that they are using to cross to Poland. There are other entries, of course, but where we are going currently, in terms of our time estimates, I think we are 1 hour, 22 minutes away from Medyka, and that's where we are trying to get a sense of how this war has affected ordinary people who have been fleeing, leaving basically the Ukraine, coming to Poland. More than 2 million people are said to have left the Ukraine, and about 500,000 of those have found themselves in Poland. Earlier on, we were in the Polish capital, Warsaw, and that's where we saw thousands of people basically stranded, but they are happy that they were able to find shelter. They are using train stations, and other sporting complexes have been cleared to accommodate those who have left the Ukraine to come to Poland. Now, Poland is having the largest number of refugees from the Ukraine currently as we speak, and the mayor of Warsaw has said that, the city is not coping. They are getting overwhelmed because every hour, every minute, more and more people are coming. Now, the journey that we are making here, some people cross the border. Once they are in Poland, then they will go to the nearest train station. They will board a train, go straight either to Warsaw or to other cities and towns across Poland, but some prefer to use public transport such as buses, so they will take a bus. It's still a long journey. Imagine most of them would have walked for about kilometers trying to cross from the Ukrainian side coming to Poland. Once they get to Poland, as we are driving from Warsaw to Medyka, where we are going, is 4 hours 15 minutes. Now imagine someone who's been traveling for hours trying to flee the Ukraine. You enter Poland and you still need to travel a number of hours to get to your next destination. So that is the situation, and earlier on we were able to interview people who've been affected by this war. They've been telling us that it's been very tragic for them, and one lady in particular told me that she left her husband in the Ukraine because men and boys who are above 60 are not, or above 16 rather, sorry, they are not allowed to leave the Ukraine because they have to fight to defend their country. So she was very hurt in a way, very disappointed, saying she doesn't know what will happen to her husband and her firstborn son. She was only able to take her mother and one of the youngest sons to come to Poland. I asked her where she was going to next. She said to me, listen, I do not know. All I know is that I need to keep on traveling. I will not know where to get to. I don't know what to do when I get there, but for now I'm happy that I have escaped from the Ukraine. So that is the situation, and authorities in Poland are really struggling. They are calling for more help, for more countries to assist in taking more people in. Perhaps let's take a listen to this news piece that has been put together by my colleague Jody Jacobs about the suffering of ordinary people who have fled the Ukraine.
It's their home for now, a train station in the middle of the Polish capital. For many, there's nowhere to go, while others wait, pray, and hope some good Samaritan will come to their rescue.
Actually, my family, they occupied it, I can say, because it's small village in north Ukraine, and Russian panzer tanks, they go through that village, but because it's a small village, they not interested. They go just right to Kyiv, but they go through, and my parents still there, and they cannot go out from there because it's very dangerous at the moment.
Olga Zerichnova has traveled by train from the Ukraine. By her side, her 2 young sons, a daughter and a mother. She's forced to leave loved ones behind.
My husband, my father, my brother, because they can't leave Ukraine now.
And how does that make you feel, having to leave them behind?
It is difficult. I cried all morning today.
And if you think about the war in the Ukraine and the fact that the Russians have come in, how does that make you feel?
I'm angry often because I think I don't know a lot of words, but it is impossible in 21st century to make the war. I don't understand why.
Are you hoping to go home?
Yes, of course, I hope. I hope because it is my motherland. I want to live in Ukraine.
When they arrive in the central station in here, they can get accommodation, they can get some transport to another cities or another countries. Also, of course, we feed them. If they are thirsty, they can drink hot tea, or they can have water for the way. Of course, we have a medical point right here. We have also the animal helpers. So if you come with your pet, with your cat or with your dog, of course, you will get some help. And basically, we just provide them everything what is needed. So every law or like psychological help, also some clothes or some medications, like absolutely everything.
For now, the wait for thousands continue. The humanitarian crisis unfolding in Warsaw is absolutely heartbreaking. We are on our way to the border now, Medyka, to be more specific. And with the war now in its 3rd week, more and more Ukrainian refugees are crossing the border, making it exceptionally difficult for Polish authorities and local volunteers to provide sufficient help. Jody Jacobs, Poland.
Sure. So that piece there by Jody Jacobs, Siphamandla, paints a vivid picture of the human suffering. I mean, that train station, people living at a train station at the moment. Just tell me about the humanitarian response. I see that you spoke to one volunteer, but I wonder if you've been able to gauge, at least in Warsaw at least, the extent of the humanitarian response to try and ensure that while these people are, living in those spaces, such as those train stations, etc., they can cope with the elements. And, I understand it's the winter there.
Indeed, it's very cold, and one of those responses has got to do with providing shelter. I think shelter is one of the most important things currently for all those who have fled the Ukraine. So when we went to some of the train stations in Warsaw, many people were telling us that they need shelter, they need food, and the tricky situation and the tricky part about this is that many people are not sure when this will be over. Some are using these train stations as transit, camps for now, if we can put it like that. Others are saying we are waiting to see once this war is over, we'll go back home. Others are saying, well, we are not really sure whether we'll be able to go back home. And now these volunteers that are helping them are calling for more help because they are saying this humanitarian crisis is growing and they don't know for how long it will last for. And right now they need all the resources to assist. But most interestingly is that when we were at Warsaw, at least we saw that those who arrive, they are being processed and they are being given accommodation. They get asked what is it that they need the most, and some of them will say, I just need a cell phone and a SIM card to be connected. I need to make a call and check up on those that I've left behind. So those are some of the things that the Polish authorities are providing them with for now, but others are saying, I just need a train ticket to keep on making my journey and my route further up. I will see when I get to the nearest town or the next town, that's where I will settle. So it's either they need transport, they need food, obviously they need accommodation. Others have got medical needs that they need to be taken care of, and there are makeshift hospitals that have been set up for them to ensure that upon arrival at least they get screened. They are also given medication. Remember, some of them just picked up all they could and then they left. Others have been telling us that they left their chronic medication behind. So as soon as they arrive in Poland, at least they are attended to medically and they are given accommodation. But that's not enough because Warsaw is not coping with the number. More than 500,000 people have already entered the Polish capital, and more than 2 million people have fled the Ukraine. And each and every minute there is a train that is arriving, there is a bus that is arriving carrying more and more people. So authorities are calling for more help, and they are calling on other countries to take at least some of the people that are fleeing the Ukraine for now.
All right, let's leave it there for now. We'll check in with you once you get to the town of Medyka and you've had time to interact with the people that are there, as well as those who are coordinating the humanitarian response. That's eNCA's senior reporter Siphamandla Goge en route to the town of Medyka in Poland to check in on the refugee situation. He is, of course, traveling there with Jody Jacobs as well as Joe Komane, who are also part of the team that will bring you that story over the next few days and give you a sense exactly of what's happening around the refugee situation.